How do you know when your no muscle is strong? How do you know when your no muscle, N-O is the word, no muscle, is strong? Please share. Hopefully, this can help someone else with the same question. It's a really good question because a lot of people don't realize that your no muscle is actually a muscle, right? And like any other muscle, it can be torn, it can atrophy, it can be undeveloped, it can be diseased. Think about if you have muscles, right? I'm what in my third month now from a total knee replacement, and when they basically amputate your leg, is what I call it. Here's your leg, and they saw it off and put a new knee in. Well, they got to cut a lot of muscle to do that. And when you first come out of surgery, oh my gosh, this is a great analogy. I didn't know how good this was. This is I never thought about this. When you first come out of surgery, okay, like the first day, your legs extended, right? And they tell you to try to raise your leg like this. It won't move. And you got to try to activate it just, because you got to start, but it won't move. Your freaking leg won't move up. I'm going, what the heck? And the doctor said, well, that's pain inhibition. I said, what is that? He said, your brain, your muscles won't let it move because it's going to hurt too badly. So it stops it. Oh my gosh. Think about this analogy. So you have a no muscle where you grow up and it gets manipulated or, guiltified or even beaten or invaded upon through abuse. You're not going to say no to that guy that's going to, hit you or that person is going to punish you for saying no or react in anger, and you have pain inhibition. It won't work. Because here's what happens day one in the hospital. This I think it's probably the lady that played the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, or some Wicked Witch. They call them now physical therapists. That's what they call them. But oh my gosh, they come in and they start to move it. You talk about pain. Oh my gosh. But see, they got to help you move it because you can't do it by yourself. Well, that's how no muscle gets developed, is you get a therapist, you get a friend, you get people supporting you. And when you first start to do it, there's some recovery that goes on because there's some pain. But then you keep doing it and you keep doing it and keep doing it. And it gets stronger. And then, you know what they say? They invite you out to do it more. And then they start to even put a weight on it. And then they push against it. I'm still going to physical therapy. And now I lie on a table with my leg bent over the side, and I've got to push, and she's pushing against me while I'm pushing. Resistance that builds the strength. Well, that's how no muscle works. Well, now here I am, almost 3 months out, and you've watched this progression if you've been watching the show for a while. I'm going up and down stairs. I'm playing golf again, but it still hurts. I mean, hurts. It's still, there's a ways to go. I still got to, regain more motion, but it's getting stronger as I use it. Now, in relation to your question, how do you know your no muscle is strong? Well, number one, can you move it? Can you say no? When you go to say no, okay, here's how you do it. You put your tongue in the top of your mouth and you go, no, okay? Now, can you do that in a relationship? Or does it go like this? Sure. You try to say no and you say yes. You find yourself saying yes. Or is it go like this? Maybe. See, I want you to judge how well can you do it at all. And then number two, how well can you do it without conflict where you're not afraid? And then judge how big a weight can you handle? Basically, I'm a person of faith. If you've been listening to the show long or seen some of my books, you know that. And I have this phrase. One of my favorite verses is, well, y'all are kidding me now, because that's like 50,000 verses, right? Because I'm just always amazed at, because I really do believe that God wrote the Bible, and that, you know, the one that created the laws of physics, if you read the physics book that he wrote, well, you're going to get the laws, right? And always validated by research and empirical data. I've been amazed over 40 years in studying all of psychology and neurobiology and all of that, how it's just incredible what how the laws of physics work, the way he created them. Well, one of them, I couldn't believe this when I came across this verse. This is out of Leviticus, and it's in chapter 19. And a lot of people think the first recovery scientists came in the 60s when they started studying addictions, and they did family systems, and they found out about the enablers and all of that. Well, they don't they didn't realize Moses, who wrote Leviticus, as he heard it from God, was the first addictions counselor. Because here's what it says. It says basically that you got to confront, when somebody's wrong. Well, I'll tell you the whole thing. It says, do not pervert justice. Okay, now justice is when we speak the truth and we require what is right. Okay, among other things, but that's one way of thinking of justice: requiring what is right and making sure everybody gets treated in the right way. Okay, among other things. I know it's bigger than that. It says, do not pervert justice. Now, I want you to think of your no muscle when I quote this. It says, do not defer to the great and powerful. In other words, don't let them off the hook. Don't fail to confront something that's wrong just because somebody has power. Maybe they're a rageaholic. Maybe they're a narcissist. Maybe they're your boss. Maybe it's the powers that be in a company. That's what whistleblower laws are about. So we can confront and not defer to power. So we lose our no muscle. And this is the measurement of your no muscle. Can you say no to somebody who's more powerful? Okay. Think at this. It says, don't defer to the great and powerful, nor be partial to the poor or needy. Now think about that side of it. See, sometimes we won't require what is right from somebody and what they need to do just because we feel sorry for them. You see this in addicted families all the time. Well, Johnny needs some limits. Johnny needs some boundaries. Johnny needs to be held accountable for his behavior, right? Oh, but Johnny's, he's struggled with addiction, and Johnny's had a hard life. I know, but you can't be partial to him because of that, because you're not helping him. You are enabling him if you let him off the hook and bail him out 53 more times and don't hold him responsible. That's not helping him. It's not helping him. Now, we're not talking about not helping somebody if they're hurting. We're talking about helping them when helping helps. Codependency is when helping hurts. That's what enabling is. So sometimes if somebody's addicted, we have to require justice, even though they're hurting. I remember, when I ran psych hospitals, somebody checks in, they're depressed, and think, oh, finally they're going to take care of me. Of course we're going to take care of you. But at 6 o'clock in the morning, Nurse Ratchet's knocking on their door. Okay, you got to get up. Come on, go to your community meeting. You got to get your assignments. You got to go to group, fill out that part you're going to share, and you're going to talk. See, just because we're depressed or we're struggling doesn't mean things aren't required from us. When the physical therapist came in my room, I promise you I was poor and needy. When the pain was, if any of you have had this done, it's not easy, but she couldn't pervert justice. She still required responsibility from me. Okay. And that's the only way that I've gotten well. So in your no muscle, back to the question, can you require somebody who's struggling to do their part and to not do wrong, to stop using the drug, not enable that, to stop not showing up, for work or whatever it is their responsibility, and confront that, even though they're having a hard time. It's the only way they're going to get well. Or on the poor and needy side, I think it's a great passage. And then talk about the enabling part, the verse right after that, I think it says, but you got to confront your neighbor frankly, honestly, or get this, or you will share in their guilt. Isn't that amazing? See, if we're not confronting somebody, then we're part of the problem. We're the enabler. And that's what the addictions people found out, that there's the addict, but the codependent's part of the problem because they're enabling this. Well, Moses wrote that thousands of years ago. And that's the laws of physics when it comes to our no muscle